Welcome to the Running Man.
Hey everyone, Jedi Mike here, and I'm back with another video. Today, I'm going to be talking about the new film, The Running Man. This is starring Glenn Powell, Josh Brolin, and Coleman Domingo. The film goes as follows. In the near future, The Running Man is a top-rated show on television. A deadly competition where contestants must survive 30 days while being hunted by professional assassins. Desperate for money to save his sick daughter, Ben Richards is convinced by the show ruthless producer to enter the game as a last resort. Ratings soon skyrocket as Ben's defiance, instinct, and grit turn him into an unexpected fan favorite, as well as a threat to the entire system. And this film is directed by Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright is definitely one of my favorite directors. He directed one of my favorite films back growing up, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, starring Michael Cera, who also shows up in this film as well in a small role. And I was very excited to see this film, Running Man. This is one of the stories based off of Stephen King. Stephen King, one of my favorite authors. And, you know, this year, 2025, he has been on a roll in terms of his IP, making bank, going from Welcome to Derry to The Long Walk. He's just been killing it, and different directors and writers are trying to interpret his stories. And I think this is the year of Stephen King. But I also want to talk about this film has a star-studded cast. You got Glenn Powell, Josh Brolin, Coleman Domingo, Lee Pace, and also some surprises in this film as well. And you see here, this film is a remake of the original 1980s film, The Running Man, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, Arnold Schwarzenegger is not in this movie, but he does show up on the $100 bill as a small Easter egg if you catch it, and it's actually very funny. The audience I was watching at the press screening, they caught it. That definitely was a good little sprinkle of nostalgia. But this story centers around Ben Richards, who is a struggling man who's trying to provide for his family, and his daughter is sick with the illness, and this is a family that's wreaks poverty, and this whole world of this futuristic 2025 wreaks poverty in this futuristic world, and where everything around them is just about profit and corporate greed, and everyone is down on their luck and just trying to make a quick buck to provide for their families, right? And because of the system that's in place, and Ben Richards is put his back up against the corner where he also just lost his job to provide for his family, and the only way that he can actually try to make some decent money is to go into a reality show. In this world, the reality shows basically put people's lives on the line for the pure of entertainment, right? You can say about the Hunger Games, but in a more comedic and radical way, for the sake, again, for profit and corporate greed, right? And there's a lot of themes that they dive into this film in terms of about, again, corporations taking advantage of the lower class, definitely exploring the themes of classism, the themes of poverty, and what will you do for the sake of providing for your family, morality in a sense of how a system that's put in place to keep people down on the bottom and to keep the people on the top, and then when certain systems are in place that you're making decisions that you feel like you never had to make before, but you put your back up against the corner and you realize, okay, if I make this choice, I get an amazing opportunity, but for sake of what, right? There's always a cost, there's always a sacrifice here. And again, for people's struggle and pain, out of it comes entertainment and profit for a lot of these corporations, and which is centered around Josh Brolin's character, who's a producer of these reality shows, and Coleman Domingo, who is the showman, the host of The Running Man. And I really like that fact that creating this atmosphere of this world, and combating the 1980s film, which now, because of visual effects and because of technology has advanced and stuff, how that this film is kind of displaying a harsh reality that we might be becoming this world of corporate greed taking advantage of the poor, of the needy, right? And not even though it's in some instances in this film that is taken to a very extreme and radical way, but the way our society is looking like and look like where it's heading, it's might not be a far stretch unfortunately. And this film definitely, blatantly displays those messages in this film. And for some of you, you may enjoy this and you may not enjoy this. Simple fact of the politics and themes that are in this. Again, depending on how messaging, for you as a viewer, you might take. I'll say if you just go in this film and, as a popcorn film and just enjoy for the wild ride, then you will have a very entertaining experience, because yes, it definitely is taking on the same ride and roller coaster. We're following Ben Richards signing up for this show and going through these radical, insane situations, trying to escape these assassins in very comedic ways and also very dramatic ways as well, because also it's happening in public, and innocent people are getting killed as well, in the midst of all this, trying for the sake of create entertainment. And also, surprisingly, this film dives into about propaganda and about fake news and creating a narrative, a false narrative, to serve a story or a plot. And again, not far stretched what we see today in social media now with the introduction of AI. And this film actually goes into a realistic horror of AI, of making someone do something that didn't say or do, making an action or a situation, murder, whatever, or crime that happened that didn't actually happen, but because of visual effects and everything, you can make it look like somebody did something or say something to manipulate the masses. And again, that is no far stretch what we're seeing going on with AI, and this film dives into that. But I think when we talk about the performances here, Glenn Powell definitely is, you see him becoming a leading man in the film industry. And again, he's not pulling no punches, and again, he is thriving. Definitely, filling the archetype, but you see him just going into this strong devotion to provide for his family. But at the same time, Ben Richards also as a man that does has no filter, and definitely will punch you in the face if he needs to, cusses you out if he needs to. Well, again, he's against the system 100%. And he goes with it. And again, he doesn't stay conform into the system and everything, because he's just trying to provide for his family. Characters throughout this film as well that are also against the system and trying to find the ways to rebel against this entertainment system of the Running Man, of this reality show that's trying to, again, make sport of people's struggle, of people's trauma, their poverty, again, and the themes of classism. Again, I think that's the point what Stephen King was trying to display when he was creating the story of the Running Man, of these insane situations just for the sake of profit and corporate greed, but at the same time also giving people who are experiencing sense of poverty a way to escape, but again, another form of, I would say, mental and literal slavery, where it's like, hey, we'll sell you this big show, we'll sell you this big idea and everything, but yet you have to sign this contract, and yet your family be taken care of, but you have to play this role and play this part and say these lines. And again, this is the thing about when situations called that you might be put to provide for your family in harsh situations, whatever. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to sacrifice, right? Is your own morality, your own survival. And again, I think this film takes it in a very entertaining and comedic way too. But some of the negatives about it too is that it does become a little bit formulaic in a way where some things are predictable by said tropes that are clearly verbatim, blatantly said to you. And again, if you understand the film plot from beginning, middle, to end, you follow the themes. Some of the things become predictable, and sometimes, for some people who have a sensitive posture in terms of politics and messaging and everything, this film might offend you, especially if things that are happening now that have happened in the last few months in our country, that just surprisingly some of those themes are actually displayed here in a very blunt way, and that's the best way I can say it without spoiling for you. But I say that for people that are going to this film blind, if you are just a fan of Stephen King, or you're a fan of just entertainment, joy, situational humor, whatever, then again, you're going to be in for something, again, very entertaining and popcorn fun. But I will say that some of the line delivery for some certain supporting characters, as you know, when we get into the third act of the film, that we go on a full ridiculous nature to a point that some people might be taken out, like out of this film, and at the end of it, when you're walking out of this film feeling either frustrated, annoyed, or just pure entertained and like, oh, whelmed, in a way, because you understand the message they're trying to tell you. And again, predictable. The ending is very predictable in this. But did that ruin my enjoyment of this film at all? No. I think some of the performances here are definitely strong, especially coming from Josh Brolin and Coleman Domingo, who play these, again, you want to say antagonist and villain roles, trying to feed this system, especially with Josh Brolin, who is the producer of these reality shows and stuff. And he come across very charismatic, especially Coleman Domingo. Coleman Domingo, I can tell you this, is that he's becoming an actor that he just oozes charisma and oozes gravitas to a point that any role that you give him, he's going to own it and going to, again, stand out, regardless how big or small that role is going to be. And I really enjoyed his performance in this, and definitely it was entertaining every time he was on screen, being this host of insane show, which is The Running Man. But again, I was not familiar with the Running Man story, so there were some things that kind of like took me setback in terms of watching this film. I was like, oh, I was not expecting that. I was just expecting just some pure entertainment joy, but no, I got a message. I got some themes of politics, themes of poverty and greed, about necessity, survival, the spreading a narrative for sake of to manipulate the masses, right? That is a very strong theme that is from beginning, middle, and that this film shows us as an audience member. And I will say that again, if you are aware or socially aware of politics and some things going on, again, these themes are going to be very, very obvious for you. And regardless where you are in the political spectrum, you might going to love it or hate it. But I will say, go in this film, do not have any high hopes. Enjoy for some of the performances and some of the action scenes as well, because there are definitely some great cinematography, action shots in this film, and just go along for the ride for a popcorn fun. Do you have to wait to go streaming on this? Maybe. For some of you, you might want to just wait until go see this film when it comes on streaming on Paramount Plus or something like that, or you can go see this film in theaters this weekend. Won't be released in a theater near you. But that concludes my non-spoiler review of The Running Man. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, comment, like, and share. Let me know your thoughts if you've seen The Running Man. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. All right, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.